Okay, and we are live. Hello and welcome everyone to another live stream. We are going to react. We are going to react to the headlines, but before that, let me just remind you we have just dropped another episode of the story of Vishnu. All right, this is a person in the contemporary landscape of Bharat. He is navigating through some of his own problems. On top of that, some of the problems of contemporary Bharat herself. So it's going to be an interesting journey for Vishnu, and you guys can be a spectator to that journey. If you like to read, go to our profile on X, go to the articles tab. You'll see it has been labeled properly as episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, and so on and so forth. So far, we have dropped 3 episodes. So it would be nice if you could just get yourself updated with the first 3 episodes, and then it would be interesting for you to read further. All right. Without any further ado, let me. All right. I hope this is visible to everyone. I mean, Ambani is going all out, man. Kardashians join Ambani wedding. This has to be. I mean, yeah, he has spared no celebrity, starting from Drake, um, with that fellow Justin Bieber. You know, oddly enough, the kind of underpants that he was wearing reminds me of my grandfather because he also used to wear trousers of similar pattern. So yeah, I hope this is visible to all of you guys joining our live stream. Let me just check. Oh yes, it is there. It is there. It is there. It is there. All right, people. We will simply just start reacting. Let's see what do we have for today. NATO has accused China of playing a role of decisive enabler of Russia's war against Ukraine, marking a significant escalation in the alliance's stance on Beijing and its systematic challenges to global security. All right, there has been a change of stance by NATO, that is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. They have directly named and pointed at China. We have discussed this quite frequently. Whatever the sanctions the West, led by United States and the European countries, whatever sanctions they impose on Russia, it is China that is helping Russia to circumvent them. All right, and that is the only thing that separates Bharat from China in context of Russia. Okay, we don't aid Russia into circumventing those sanctions. We legitimately do business. We have some of the exceptions given to us, or rather, yeah, it's some sort of a privileged relationship that we have with Russia. Our trade with Russia do not violate the sanctions that the West has put on it. So this is NATO. They are naming China. They're saying that China is a decisive enabler of Russia's war against Ukraine. All right. Keep in mind there are multiple sanctions. Some would say there are more than 16,000 sanctions on Russia. And despite that, it is still thriving, and we have China to thank for it. And that is the combined opinion of the West. Okay. Now, here it is written that it is marking a significant escalation in the alliance stance on Beijing. This is the because NATO also has some considerable interest in the Asia Pacific and the Indo Pacific region. All right, and let's see how well is NATO able to navigate and balance this tough line of countering China, but at the same time also maintaining a firm stance on Russia. Okay. Central government has set up a single member committee to investigate the candidature claims and other details of Pooja Khedkar, a probationary IS officer recently embroiled in a controversy over her alleged misuse of power as a civil servant. We have discussed this multiple times. Okay, human nature by default is corruptible. Okay, so forgive me for saying this. Now, I'm not saying there wouldn't be any exceptions to this norm, but majority of the civil servants, somewhere or the other, they are involved in a, you know, eh, eh, they are involved in dealings that are not in line with the ethics and morals of the office that they occupy. So, somewhere or the other, where they are compromising on their morals or ethics, because we live in such a world that you cannot be rigid about your morals and ethics. You need to compromise at certain places to ensure your safety, to ensure the safety of your family as well. So, this is something that has come up very recently. A civil servant, so the central government has set up a single member committee to investigate the candidature. The fact that they have set up a single member committee, that means, okay, there are people at the higher offices of, these central government that might be involved in this. So if, because you know if they if indeed what the details that are doing rounds on social media are true, it is alleged that this particular probationary officer, she forged some of the documents, she faked some of the disabilities to get into the civil services. And let's see what comes out of this, because without the connivance of people in the higher offices, this would not have been possible. Let's see what comes out of this. And usually government will not orchestrate one of their own, even if she was to be found guilty. Okay, she would be let off with a slap on her wrist. Maximum that could happen to her would be she would be stripped of her rank, she would be stripped of her office. Yeah, I don't see her facing any punitive action, unless it's like it's proven beyond doubt that she was acting with malicious intentions. Okay, so yeah. And there is this there is this myth among majority of the youth that the only way to serve your nation is to get into civil services. No. Okay, if you were to make a list of professions where you can aid in the development of nation, I guess civil services would probably come at the bottom of that list. Right. Next up is CBI has arrested a man called Rakesh Ranjan, alias Rocky, who is believed to be the kingpin in the NEET paper leak. Okay, so finally we get to the head of the snake. After conducting raids in multiple states, multiple districts, Latur in Maharashtra, Godhra in Gujarat, some places in UP and Bihar, after making multiple arrests, we have reached the bottom of the rabbit hole. We have caught the snake and we have got the head of it, but we don't know. Okay, we'll only know after, you know, after all the details come out. So yes, they have arrested this fellow named Rakesh Ranjan, alias Rocky, who is believed to be the kingpin. Now it would be interesting to see. Okay, this could be a thought experiment. If indeed NTA, that is National Testing Agency, if indeed is a government body, if indeed there is a committee that sets up the paper, all right, how is this that this particular individual, okay, get in possession of those papers? So like I said, somebody from the inside must have helped him, or at least ensured that he faced no impediments while leaking the paper. So somebody from the inside has to have been involved in this. And let's hope that CBI is able to function without any political pressure. Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has expressed happiness over the increase in area of pulses cultivation during the ongoing Kharif sowing this year. All right, according to the Agriculture and Farmer Welfare's Minister, the ex Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, uh, he's saying that there is an increase in area of pulses cultivation. Pulses are, a supplementary food for your protein intake. All right, there is this widespread, I wouldn't say myth, but up to a certain degree, this is true. Okay, vegetarian diet is somewhat deficient. I wouldn't exactly say deficient, but it provides a little less protein compared to other, other diets. So, but yes, pulses and lentils are some of the replacements that you can use. And yeah, so if you look at it this way, all right, pulses are a wholesome food. You don't just get protein out of it, you get other useful things such as um, minerals, other minerals that are useful for your body. And on top of that, get protein as well. All right, and there are no long-term health repercussions, long-term repercussions related to your health if you consume pulses for a longer period of time. Whereas if you compare that with meat, okay, there is scientific research out there to back this claim that over a period of time, consuming non-vegetarian food has impacts on your organs, on your metabolism. Yep. Next is, all right, popular Kannada actress and former Doordarshan and Akashvani presenter Aparna passed away in Bengaluru. All right. Indeed, a sad day. Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Anumala directed all revenue generating departments in the state to strive to meet their annual targets and implement necessary measures to increase revenue compared to the previous fiscal year. All right. So he has instructed all the revenue generating departments in the state. So, for those of you who don't know, revenue generating departments of the state are usually the companies that uh, help the state treasury to generate revenue. Okay, at the central level, the biggest revenue generating company that the central government has is railways. Okay, on top of that, there are other things as well that generate revenue, but not as high as railways. All right. Now, if you replicate that model at the state level as well, the state government too has some of the bodies or some of the departments that generate revenue. Now, here is as Chief Minister of Telangana, Revanth Reddy. Okay, he has instructed the departments to meet their targets. So that would imply that they are not meeting their targets. If they were indeed meeting their targets, he wouldn't have to issue this statement. Okay. So fiscal health of some of the states are deteriorating. Kerala is one such example. Okay, after after subscribing to the communist ideology, after running their state by this communist ideology, they are still coming up short on the economic front. This is Kerala I'm talking about, not Telangana, obviously. All right. The Sri Lankan cricket has released details of the upcoming tour of the men in blue team to the island nation. All right. Sri Lanka is a They are indeed a cricketing nation. I wouldn't say they are not a cricketing nation. So currently there is this series going on with Zimbabwe, and after finishing that, I guess again the team will be reshuffled and they'll travel to Sri Lanka. So it would be interesting to see a lot of cricket coming up. The Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar will address the faculty and students of Narsi Munji Institute of Management Studies. All right, Vice President. He's also the chairman of Rajya Sabha, that is how our democracy functions. Jagdeep Dhankar. Chief economics commentator at an English daily Financial Times, Martin Wolf has estimated Bharat to be a superpower by 2047. Okay. Not that you saying it gives some sort of a legitimacy, but thank you, Mr. Martin Wolf. Central forces will implement 10% reservation for ex Agniveers. All right, all right. Now, the political parties, they are very much divided over the scheme of Agniveer. So it would be interesting to see how the future of Agniveer turns out to be. Sarbananda Sonowal addresses stakeholders meeting at Vizinjam Lighthouse in Thiruvananthapuram. Okay, okay. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister visits three northern districts of state to review multiple projects. Ladakh 3-day focus group discussion on sustainable livelihood concludes. And Kargil. Okay. Now, sustainable livelihood, meaning if you're doing something, let's say if you are in a profession, how sustainable is that profession? Okay, if you are involved, let's say in dairy farming and dairy. Okay, so you'll keep a lot of sheep, cows, so they can provide you with dairy products to sell. So I would say such lifestyles, such livelihoods are more like sustainable, because you can sustain over a period of time. So there was a focus group discussion on sustainable livelihoods in Kargil. So there are many of outreach programs that the armed forces are taking in the valley. Ladakh is very different from Kashmir. So whenever somebody says Ladakh, okay, they usually imagine it together with Kashmir, but they are very much culturally different, I would say. Uh, Very much different. Ladakh is very much different from Kashmir. Bharat is a proactive partner furthering BRICS agenda of inclusive growth and sustainable development. Om Birla, the speaker in the Lok Sabha, United States is second hottest June on record amid heat waves. Okay, United States, if unless it is more than 48, 49 degrees Celsius, we wouldn't consider it as heat waves, because that is the normal temperature that we have during our summers. So unless you have something more than 48-degree, it isn't really a heat wave. Very recently, you might have heard this in news that United Kingdom, that is UK, they declared a heat wave when the temperature reached 28 degrees Celsius. It would be 28 outside, more than 28 probably, as the day progresses. IMD predicts heavy to very heavy rainfall over northeast during the next 2 days. Yes, the rains are not here to go; the rains are here to stay. Okay, so for the upcoming 1 month, keep expecting rainfalls. Center states need to collectively work to ensure proper execution of family planning schemes and high burden districts and blocks. JP Nadda. Okay. Okay. The Air Force arm of the National Armed Forces reaches Australia to participate in an exercise that is pitch black. So militaries, they do carry out these exercises. Friendly countries, obviously. So friendly countries, they do carry out these military exercise to increase the synchronicity between its armed forces. So in future, if you know time arises where both the militaries have to work in tandem, so at least they would be prepared. There would be some basic level of coordination between the armed forces. So whenever a country participates in military exercise with another country, there is usually some sort of camaraderie between those two nations, or at least they might have a shared mutual interest or a shared mutual threat. Okay, for example, Bharat, Australia, Japan, and USA, they have formulated this grouping of Quad. Okay, now all of them have this mutual adversary, I would say, in China. So yes, whenever there is a military alliance, whenever there is a military exercise, there is always an underlying reason beneath it. They don't do it without any reason. Next up is, we got this one yesterday. Mhm. The 16th Finance Commission holds a meeting with Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Vishnu Sai and members of the state cabinet in the capital Raipur. Okay, a finance commission is a constitutional body, I would say. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Finance Commission is a constitutional body. It is mandated that a finance commission should be set up every 5 years, and they look into the fiscal condition of the state and the central government as well. There is, they give some recommendations to improve the fiscal and monetary conditions, and that is why it is there, and it is mandated that the finance commission must be set up every 5 years. I guess it is the president that nominates the members of the finance commission. Obviously, the recommendations would come from some arm of the elected government, but nevertheless, it is the president that sanctions the setting up of finance commission. Defense minister was admitted to AIMS Delhi this afternoon following some complications. He is stable. Okay, Rajnath Singh, wishing you a speedy recovery. He's a veteran minister. He has been handling multiple portfolios. His political career is more than 3 decades, I would say. And yes, all the best. Speedy recovery to you. Minister of State Defense Sanjay Seth visits Fort William, Eastern Command of the Bharat Army in Kolkata. Change the name, please. Fort William. Yeah, this is the problem with us. We don't realize the subtleties. You need to change the name of this place, Fort William. Okay. So if at all this video reaches the concerned and relevant authorities, or if at all this, if somebody is watching this, okay, make sure that you change the name of this Fort William if at all in future you occupy a public office. Yep. Mission Olympic Cell of the YAS Ministry has approved several proposals to assist athletes and para-athletes in their preparation for the Paris Olympics. Okay. Mission Olympic Cell. So there has been a lot of politics going around this scheme of Agniveer. So now here is the Director General of CISF, that is Central Industrial Security Force. The Director General has made the statement. Okay, the Home Ministry has taken a big step in recruiting ex-Agniveers in Central Armed Police Forces. She says that the CISF headquarters has also made all arrangements in this regard. She adds that 10% of vacancies of constables, okay, will be reserved for ex-Agniveers, and they will be given relaxation in the physical efficiency test. All right. So there are there are efforts being done to address the concerns related to the Agniveer scheme. Okay, opposition, I guess they have a problem with this scheme. We have seen this. Many of the leaders of the opposition in the parliament, they have raised this issue. So let's see. Okay, here is the prime minister. He is interacting with 181 officer trainees. Okay, these are civil servants who are supposed to uphold the democratic values. Prime Minister interacts with 181 officer trainees of 2022 batch who have been attached as assistant secretaries in various ministries and departments. At the Sushma Swaraj Bhavan in New Delhi, PM Modi says that the new Bharat is not satisfied with the lackadaisical approach and demands proactiveness, as they should endeavor to provide the best possible governance, quality of manufacturing, and quality of life. Yeah, we all know what these civil servants do, so let's just not get carried away. Now I wouldn't say all of them have this approach, but majority of them. Okay, we cannot there are only a few of them who uphold the values, who function with strong moral and ethical principles, but majority of them, have some or the other compromises. They have made some or the other compromises with their morals and ethics. And not that I'm saying I am any different. Okay. Each human being on this earth has to make some or the other compromises with their morals and ethics based on the situation that confronts them in this life. So I'm not judging. I'm not saying they're good or they're bad. I'm simply just highlighting the fact that they are no different from commoners. Okay. No disrespect to the people who adhere to these difficult principles of morals and ethics. There are people out there, okay, there are people out there who are genuinely working towards the betterment of the society, but majority of them aren't. Okay, Wimbledon. Jasmine Paolini enters the final. Mhm. A 13-member Bangladeshi delegation visits Bharat to explore transshipment potential at East Coast ports. Okay, okay. Bangladesh has strategic importance in the event of China opening the eastern frontier. Bangladesh, is a strategic ally under that case. So yes, we need to deepen further with our relations with Bangladesh. Okay, here are some visuals about the military exercise that we were talking a few moments ago. Uh, the Air Force arm of the National Armed Forces of Bharat contingent lands at Royal Australian Air Force Base, Darwin, Australia, to participate in biennial multinational exercise Pitch Black. The largest edition in its 43-year history, the exercise will include participation from 20 countries. Okay, 20 countries. Let's see what are we taking with us. 150 skilled air warriors, including pilots, engineers, technicians, and experts, who will be operating Sukhoi along with Globemasters, IL-78 air-to-air refueling aircraft, and combat enabling roles. Okay, this this is what we are going there with. Oh man, this Globemasters are a beauty, but this isn't a Globemaster, is it? This is some IL, that refueling thing. That's it's yeah. Yep. Is this one? Okay, Pitch Black 2024. Here, these are the pilots. This is a Sukhoi aircraft. I would say, why didn't they take Rafales? They should have taken Rafales. Yep. Okay, we still need to strengthen our air force. I would say you need fifth generation fighter aircrafts. Rafale is the fourth generation fighter aircraft. We need the fifth one. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar holds a series of meetings on the sidelines of the BIMSTEC foreign ministers' retreats. He holds a trilateral meeting with his counterparts from Thailand and Myanmar. Okay, okay, it's yeah. So these are some outreach programs I would say that we are conducting. There isn't much of strategy involved over here, but we need cooperation from countries who are our maritime neighbors, and these are such initiatives. Maybe Sri Lanka, Nepal, and all these countries. These are our next door neighbors. These are our close geographical neighbors with whom we share maritime or geographic boundaries. And definitely, yes, the neighborhood first policy is a very important one, because given the fact that we have two hostile nuclear neighbors, so we definitely need to make friends of our other neighbors. We cannot have you know a fractured neighborhood policy. Okay, okay. Let's see, that is the first coffee of the day done. This is Bhutan. Bhutan is a strategic ally in the northeast. It acts as a buffer state between us and China. Security of Bhutan is our responsibility. There is no doubt in that. We do train some of the civil servants as well. Okay, every year if there is a batch that is undergoing civil services training, you will see candidates from Bhutan as well. All right, so yeah, so the relationship between Bhutan and Bharat has been like centuries old, and I would say culturally it is very much part of Bharat. You know, so yeah, they are a country, they are a nation state, a friendly nation state, I would say. Even Bhutan is a strategic ally. If at all there is some movement on the eastern frontier by China, Bhutan is a strategic ally. Okay, Uttarakhand Chardham Yatra pilgrims can now create their Ayushman Bharat health account on eSwasthya Dham Petrol portal. Sorry. Okay. The portal helps in monitoring the Char Dham Yatra pilgrims' health parameters. It ensures the smooth journey of pilgrims visiting Yamunotri, Gangotri, Kedarnath, and Badrinath, together called the Char Dham Yatra. Okay, good. This is a step in the right direction. We definitely need to keep in mind the health and safety of the pilgrims who visit Char Dham Yatra, because we clearly know there are efforts being done from multiple parties to disrupt the pilgrimages that we have. Okay, Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. Okay, Yogi Adityanath visits and interacts with flood victims in the Terai region, Shravasti and Balrampur districts. Meanwhile, the army has been called in for help in rescue and relief operations. All right, all right. So there are some relief operations going on. Due to rains, I would say yes. Due to rains, there have been floods. Many of the people have been dislocated from their native places. So now they're living in these relief camps. And when you set up relief camps, you need to supply a lot of goods over there. I guess the Uttar Pradesh government is definitely doing things, whatever is possible for them. These are some visuals. All right. 4 lakh. Okay. 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 All right. We see you, Yogi ji. You're doing some good work. Okay. This is really, I mean, there is this there is this mentality that we have, that only a person who is educated from an English medium school, only a person who has had formal education can be a better administrator, can be a better political leader. Okay, and I would really encourage all of you all to just look at the examples from all across world. You just don't have to stay limited to our country. You'll see that there are people out there without any formal education who have had tremendous success in the fields of administration, in the fields of science as well, no less. Okay, remember Srinivas Ramanujan? He hardly, if at all, he hardly, if at all, had any formal education. But to this day, people who have had, multiple PhDs, difficult to understand the theories that he has propagated. So this idea, this Western concept of formalizing everything, formalize education to realize the true potential, no, that is not the way forward. All right, nobody asks for a literature degree from Vedvyas. Nobody asks that what were the qualifications of Valmiki. So in this part of the world, formal education does not matter. What matters is your commitment. Okay, your commitment to whatever it is that you wish to do, your commitment towards your craft. That is what matters. And your honesty and your sincerity, you cannot fake. Okay, there is this tendency of the Western world where they try to find plagiarized material and try to take credit for things that they have not done, and many of them have succeeded. Okay, I wouldn't want to take names, Many of the literature stalwarts, authors that were taught to us in school, many of them were, big time plagiarizers. So, yep. So, this is what is this? Jagdeep Dhankar addresses a joint sitting of Maharashtra State Legislature at the Legislative Assembly Hall in Mumbai. Okay, here is the State Legislative Assembly of Mumbai. You can see Eknath Shinde on the left, and on the right is the governor. Oh, yes, you can see Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, a portrait of him. There should be a bigger one. The mere his name gives me the goosebumps. Okay, Singapore's law enforcement officer seized more than 600 kg of smokeless tobacco in operations conducted through May and June. Okay, Singapore has a very like a no tolerance for drugs policy. Okay, of the Health Sciences Authority. HSA, that is the Health Sciences Authority, and police officers attended the joint operations, and 27 offenders are assisting with investigations for peddling and possession of smokeless tobacco products. Okay, okay. Hmm. So there was an earthquake of magnitude 7 in Philippines. The island nation is rather very unstable, I would say. Okay, mobile manufacturing revolution. This is data from which? Okay, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. They have put out this data. Okay, okay. So on the left, you will see mobile phone imports. So for the year of 2014 to 2015, we had imported mobile phones worth 48,000 crores. That has come down to, okay, it has come down to almost 7 times. Now we have imported mobile phones somewhere close to 7,000 crores. Whereas if you compare the other side, the production they have given in units, not in the monetary terms, but fines. But that's fine. So in the year of 2014, okay, the manufacturing of mobile phone units was 5.8 crore units, whereas in 23-24 it was 33 crore units. Okay, so definitely the use of mobile phones is increasing. You'll see increasingly people out there who cannot live without their phones. Okay, I would see that whenever you see somebody who is sitting idle when they have nothing to do, their hands will automatically go towards their phone, because they cannot live without checking their Instagram, they cannot live without checking their WhatsApp, even though there is no update. Okay, they'll just simply sit over there, keep checking, keep scrolling, and hence the demand for mobile phone has risen. There are also multiple reasons as well why people have taken to using cell phones so much, because now that there is a penetration of internet, all right, now we see that the penetration of internet is increasing day by day. People have been using mobile phones for various number of reasons. Okay, and most prominent of them, I would say, is content creation. These days you'll see people, they want to record videos, they want to take selfies, they want to click photos. So there are multiple reasons why there is an increase in mobile phone sales and production as well. If they're producing so much, obviously they are selling so much as well. So yeah, some of them are also using it for education purposes. They like to learn things, and it's a very great equalizer, I would say. Earlier, if you had to learn something, you had to go to better institutions. It was considered that if you want to reach the pinnacle of education, you must get into Harvard and all these Ivy League schools. Okay, now that you have internet and you have a cell phone, you can simply just go to their YouTube channel and look at some of their previously recorded lectures. So that is as good as sitting over there and attending that lecture live. All right, so internet is, and even in the future will be, a good equalizer for education. People with less privileged background who were earlier not allowed to access education, now they have a lot of potential. Now with the penetration of mobile phones and internet, it has opened a whole new front for them to gain education. And on top of that, even after gaining education, if you want to do something such as content creation, so that internet and mobile phones will help in that as well. So yes, the upcoming 2 or 3 decades you'll definitely see a lot of rise of local content creations in Bharat. Okay, okay. So these are some meetings the Prime Minister is conducting with economists. Mhm. The Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla says Bharat is a proactive partner furthering BRICS agenda of inclusive growth and sustainable development. Mhm. A group of students met Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan over the NEET UG examination in New Delhi. The students shared their experience about the exam and the challenges faced by them. Okay, this is a very small sample of students that appeared for exams, I would say, but still, yeah, this is a good step. It is a step in the right direction. BIMSTEC. Name is very funny, BIMSTEC. BJP hits out at AAP in connection with alleged irregularities in the excise policy and demands the resignation of the chief minister. That's very interesting. I would say Delhi chief minister is not resigning, and the mainstream media is not focusing too much on it, because had it been, things would have been different. And this goes for every single thing these days. Okay, do this thought experiment. Every single thing that you think is morally or ethically wrong, okay, try to change the tables. Think about if the India Alliance was in power and the wrong that was committed was by somebody from the BJP, what would have been an outcry, I would say. Okay, had there been a India Alliance or the Congress government at the center, and had there been a BJP chief minister of Delhi who was in jail and still not resigning, what would be the condition? And this goes for each and everything. Okay, I cannot keep giving this analogy for things that are happening on a daily basis, but if you do this thought exercise, you'll realize uh, what are some fundamental differences between ideologies of you know at least two national parties that we have. Okay, Hera Panchami ritual observed during Puri Yathratra. Yes, okay, it's a grand celebration in the Jagannath Puri and many other cities across the country of Bharat as well. Okay. Hyderabad Union Minister Kishan Reddy BJP plants a sapling. All right, all right. Supreme Court postpones NEET UG hearing for July 18. Badrinath National Highway in Chamoli district blocked for road traffic for third consecutive day today due to a landslide near Joshimath. All right, all right. I hope my screen is still visible to you guys, because it somehow disappears midway through the live stream. Mhm. Incessant rains halt the search for miners believed to be trapped under a landslide that engulfed an unauthorized gold mine on Sulawesi Island on Sunday. At least 23 are confirmed dead and 33 reportedly missing. All right, due to the rains, the mine had collapsed due to landslides, and at least 23 are confirmed to be dead and 33 are missing. Okay, they are saying that it was an unauthorized gold mine. Again, an example of there is no end to the human greed. Mhm. Prime Minister is meeting a physicist in Vienna. Even a Nobel Prize. Nobel Prize had definitely have political bias. Nagaland receives best state in horticulture and prestigious agriculture. Okay, Nagaland. It's good to see states from the northeast getting appreciation where they deserve it, because usually what people usually what people imagine when you say something related to northeast is tribal people, some conflict going on, and that's it. So there's no depth of understanding amongst other fellow nationals of Bharat about what exactly is going on in the northeast. So here is some good way to start for the CBSE. All right, you can start putting up histories of states of the northeast in the textbooks. So at least people from different states will realize and have some better understanding about these states and their traditions. That is very important. Okay, CBSE more often focuses on the history of Delhi. So 13 fishermen arrested by Sri Lankan Navy from Puddukottai today. Okay. All right, guys. That's about it for today. All right, guys. That's about it for today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for joining.